Today I'm going to be using my calcium chloride that I made quite a while ago, but it's kind of just sat and pulled a ton of water out into the air. So these are two solutions, same concentration that I have. I was just filtering it and just had to filter into two different beakers. I don't know if these are beakers, more flasks, there we go. But I have this here too, in a Gatorade bottle. This is some sodium tungstate that I have, along with some sodium hydroxide, and I would like to make some calcium tungstate. So I'm going to dilute this down a bit and put it in this big beaker, and then I'm gonna add my calcium chloride in, and you're gonna see something really cool happen. So I'm gonna do that. So we have my sodium tungstate solution and my calcium chloride solution, and now watch this. And like magic, here is our calcium tungstate. So let's stir this around. And now it looks like milk. Very interesting. Now to let it settle out, and then I can pour off most of it and have my calcium tungstate on the bottom. That was really cool. I have my mixture of calcium tungstate and some calcium hydroxide in here now. And I think I'm going to convert my calcium tungstate into some tungsten trioxide. I'm going to be getting rid of the calcium ions by putting in a bunch of hydrochloric acid. It's going to react with everything. It's going to make some tungstic acid, I believe, and dissolve all of the calcium out of here. So that's going to be soluble. I'm going to be left with some just yellow tungstic acid, and from there I can heat it up and make some tungsten trioxide. But I think that is what I'm going to do with this. So yeah, I'll just see what happens. I should probably put on some gloves as well. It has been a couple months since I really worked on this, but I'm back with it now. It is yellow, not because it is calcium tungstate, but because I decided, considering that there's probably some calcium, I'm blanking, calcium hydroxide contamination, and just other salts in there, like my sodium. There's sodium chloride in there, which I could have gotten off, but in the end it would have left me with my white mix of calcium tungstate, which is what I wanted, and calcium hydroxide, which is not what I wanted. It probably wouldn't have mattered that much, but putting more thought into it, I decided I just want the tungsten itself. So I've decided to try and make some tungsten trioxide. The gist of what I did is I got all the white stuff I had in here, my calcium hydroxide and my calcium tungstate, and I put a lot of super concentrated hydrochloric acid in there. I heated it up a good bit too to get it all to react, and the hydrochloric acid pulled out all of the calcium ions. So now I'm just left with my tungsten trioxide. Well, right now it's tungstic acid, so it's in some really weird state right now, but if I get it hot, I'll have some tungsten trioxide. It's funny, it looks a good bit like yellow cake. But yeah, it's supposed to be really heavy as well, so I'm just gonna process all of my stuff down into that. I can test to see if there is any calcium hydroxide left in here by getting a sodium hydroxide solution and adding a little bit of my finished yellow powder in. If I see if it dissolves completely, then that means it was completely tungsten trioxide. If it does not dissolve completely and leaves behind some gray or white powder in the solution, then that means that I'm gonna have to kind of redo it and add hydrochloric acid back in again. But that's enough talking. I'm gonna boil this down now. Man, in hindsight, I should have put this in a big flat piece of glass and just let it dry out. But this is the way I've chosen for myself, so I guess I have to follow it to the end. Hopefully I can get this to dry out without too much splashing. Muck is all I can describe this as. Well, more drying, here I go. Please don't splash everywhere. It is also time for the moment of truth. Got some on a little copper piece. It turned it green because I guess there's still some hydrochloric acid on it. But if it dissolves in here and doesn't leave anything behind, then I have my product. Okay, so far so good. Looks like the only green that's getting left behind is from my copper. I think it's all dissolving. Oh my gosh. This is wonderful. Okay, thank goodness I don't have to put it through hydrochloric acid again. Yeah, I think all that blue in there is just from this copper. Let's go. Okay, I'm doing something right. Now I just gotta finish this absolute mess. After some extensive heating, it is finally dried out and a little reddish. Probably some kind of iron contamination somehow, but I have my product, so I'm gonna grind this up into a powder and then put it away for storage. I'll probably weigh it first, but man, this has been interesting. Well, after all that, I have my powder. So I labeled it mostly tungsten trioxide because I did some more tests on it, trying to dissolve it in some sodium hydroxide solution, and it did leave behind a little bit of residue, which means that there's probably still some calcium tungstate in here, so it's gonna be a little bit of a contaminant. I don't mind too much. I don't really know what I'm gonna use this for. I guess I just have it now. It's fairly hefty, which I guess is to be expected because it is a, oh crap, which I guess is to be expected because it is a tungsten compound. Yeah, I'm never doing this again. This is a massive pain. If I ever have any soluble tungsten, I'm just gonna turn it into calcium tungstate. Not make any calcium hydroxide. I'm just gonna leave it how it is, because this is a huge pain and there's dust everywhere too, and now I have to deal with this. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave this how it is. please don't try this. This is a terrible idea. Or if you do want to try this, please find somebody who knows what they're doing. But yeah, if you liked this, yell at me in the comments. Have a great day, people. Goodbye.